how's it going? Matthew Bailey here, and welcome to another 2021 movie review. And yes, I know it's been less than a week since I reviewed the last movie, but however, this movie was not a movie that got released in theaters. It was supposed to, but they decided to release it on the new Paramount Plus account, and that was the SpongeBob movie 3, Sponge on the Run. Yep, this is the third installment of the SpongeBob movies, which the last one we got was released all the way back in 2015, and I gotta be honest, this movie actually did a little bit better than this one. But anyways, let's get into it. So the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, basically tells the story of how SpongeBob literally goes on a quest with his friend Patrick to go save his pet snail Gary, and while on the journey they meet some new friends. Their original friends try to save them, and they have to save Gary from the clutches of the King Poseidon. Now, the only thing that I can say about this regarding the character of King Poseidon is that in the original first movie that was released way back in the year 2004, that movie had King Neptune as the main king of the sea. But in this movie, it must have switched to King Poseidon. And like I said, there was a lot of characters that I honestly was surprised. I wasn't too surprised when I saw Keanu Reeves show up, but I only thought he was going to show up in that one scene that we saw in the trailer. But no, he has a little bit much more of a bigger role in this movie than I originally thought. However, there are some other actors and characters who I was a little surprised that I saw appear in the movie. There's Snoop Dogg showing up in the movie, I think it is who it was. And one person that I definitely wasn't expecting was the guy who plays Machete on those Machete films. I forgot his name. But he also was the voice of the monk of Boots from that live action Dora and the Lost City of Gold. But when I saw him, he's definitely the one actor that I didn't even see in the casting list. And he's been in the Spy Kids movies too. But now the reason, I gotta be honest, this movie actually did do a little bit better than the Tom and Jerry film in my opinion. Mostly because one of the main reasons was because they did, at the end of the movie, they did actually give remembrance to the original creator of SpongeBob, Stephen Hillenburg, who unfortunately did pass away, not too long ago. I think it was at some point last year, or maybe all the way back in 2019. It was one of those 2 years when he died, and it did say in loving memory of Stephen Hillenburg at the end of the film, which is why I think this movie did do a little bit better than the Tom and Jerry film, because that movie didn't really pay remembrance to one of the original creators who died, and this one did. So I praise Nickelodeon Studios for that. But I gotta say, Tom Kenny, everybody who comes back to voice their characters, pretty crazy that they're still showing that the character of SpongeBob is still as popular as it was 22 years ago. I say 22 because the show premiered in 1999, and it's 2021 now, so 22 years ago. The SpongeBob is one of the oldest running shows on television for kids right now, and it's still hitting strong. I mean, you look at a lot of different other shows that used to come out when I was younger, like Danny Phantom, Fairly Odd Parents, Fanboy and Chum Chum, even though I didn't really like that show. There's a lot of different shows that came out when I was a kid that that didn't really last very long. I mean, sure, Fairly Odd Parents, it lasted a pretty decent amount of time. Jimmy Neutron, on the other hand, didn't, and there's a lot of different shows that I haven't already name dropped that are pretty decent. But when it comes to this movie, like I said, this is the first movie that not only does CGI, because the last movie, Sponge Out of Water, only had the characters be CGI when they were out in the real world. Now, in this movie, they have the CGI even done underwater, unlike the original two movies where both movies had them being 2D animated. And I gotta be honest, I didn't know whether the CGI was gonna work for the underwater world of SpongeBob, but it didn't seem so bad. I mean, like I said, it has its flaws, but I just cannot wait to see what the future holds for that franchise. And but anyways, let's go on to my rating. So for my rating of the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, honestly, like I said, it did do a little bit better than the Tom and Jerry movie. So I'm gonna have to give this movie a 3.5 out of 5. Yep, 3.5 out of 5. It did a little bit better, mostly because it did pay homage to the original creator, who unfortunately passed away, I believe. And rest in peace, Stephen Hillenburg. But anyways, that's all for now in this movie review, and I will see all you dudes in the next video.